what I'm going to leave for you today is a little taste of what it would be like to be in a synchronous session with Generation instructors. So that means a session where we're logged on to Zoom all together learning. You will have other sessions that are what we call asynchronous, and that means you're doing learning more so independently with instructors there to support you. So my name again is Jamie Dittman. I'm the Director of Instructional Support, so working closely with the instructors and teaching assistants who will be leading you through your journey. All right, so we're going to start with a little exercise. Go ahead and open the chat box if you don't already have it open. You should see a chat option at the bottom of your screen if you're on the computer. I know many of you have already started typing in it. It might be in a different spot if you're on the phone. But I want you to type what comes to your mind when you hear the phrase behavioral skills and mindsets. So maybe you're thinking of an example of a behavioral skill or a mindset. Maybe you're thinking of what's the difference between the two. See, soft skills, psychology, self-sufficient, coping, good communication, etiquette, mindfulness, mindsets, attitude. Yes. Keep them coming as they slow down. We'll move on, but I want to give you all the opportunity. And if you already put something, read what your peers are putting. The hardest part of the interview, says Sylvia. Yeah. Self-control, attitude, what you have learned, active listening, great. All right, keep those coming, but y'all are really hitting it on the head. These are the things that are different than technical skills. You all know that we offer technical training in various technology related programs, but we also offer behavior, skill, and mindsets. That's a key part of what makes Generation different than any other training course you might take. And really, to emphasize this, the big difference I see between behavior skills and mindsets is behavioral skills is what you do, the what, mindset is why you do it. That's kind of how I think about it. But everything I'm seeing here, y'all are absolutely correct as well. So we're going to go through objectives. We always want to be upfront about what we want to accomplish by the end of the session. And it looks like I accidentally, or somebody annotated a little yellow there. That's all right. By the end of the session, we're going to be able to do two things. I don't want to do all the talking though, because we want this to be a learner-led space. So I would love for somebody to read number 1 and someone else to read number 2. I'm going to ask for you to come off mute. Somebody who lives in Texas. I'm guessing one of the 75 people on this call lives in Texas. That's my home state. So if that's you, come off mute and read number 1, please.
Number 1, list the Generation behavioral skills and mindsets for my program of interest.
Thanks, Carl. All right, and number 2, let's get somebody who's wearing glasses to read number 2 for us. And just come off mute because I can't see all the hands raised at once.
Explain how mastering the Generation behavioral skills and mindsets is important for my success in Generation and my career.
Thank you, Angela. So what we want you to see here is the what as well as the why. So what are these BSMs, as we like to call them, and why do we emphasize them so much? We are going to revisit these objectives at the end of our session to make sure we accomplish them. So let's dig in. All right, our agenda here, we are just wrapping up our opening. Most of your sessions will have a content portion and then practice. So just like BSMs make Generation really unique, we try to provide ample opportunities for you to practice, and we do that by making it a learner-driven environment. That's something that sets us apart as well. So we'll get into our content with a little virtual gallery, do some practice in breakout rooms. So if you've never been in a Zoom breakout room, you'll get a taste of that, and then we will close out. All righty. Okay, so the way we're going to do this virtual gallery, if you've ever been to an art gallery, you know that you go in and you walk around and you maybe stand in front of a painting and then you move to the next one and you think about each one. We're going to do that with our behavior skills and mindsets. So you can see your instructions here. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat as well. This is a short link. So if you type into your browser bit.ly/BSM virtual gallery, it's going to take you to something I'll show you momentarily on my screen. But you're gonna pull this up on your own screens, and I'm gonna play a song for 4 minutes while you independently explore the different BSMs for our major program areas. So there's one for junior web and junior full stack Java developer. It's the same slide for those because those have the same behavior skills and mindsets. The content is actually the exact same for the first 11 weeks. And then junior full stack just does 4 additional weeks tagged on to the end. You'll see a slide for digital marketing analyst, another for junior cloud practitioner, and a final one for information technology support specialist. Note, I did not include digital executive assistant just because that's one that we're not doing as widely, but if you did want to know what those are, I'll answer that at the end. But as you're gallery walking, sliding through these slides, I want you to take note which behavior skills and mindsets are the same between these 4 different slides, which are different. So I'm going to show you what you should be seeing on your end. If you pulled up what I put in the chat, the short link, it should look like this. So you see 4 different slides. You're going to have 4 minutes to browse. I recommend that you jot down some notes as you do. I'm going to play a 4-minute song, but do you have any questions before we begin? And as you're looking at these, note that if you see blue, that's a behavior skill. Green is our mindsets. All right. So hopefully you had a chance to look over all 4 slides. Glad y'all liked the music. I'm a big fan of instrumental. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. All right, and if you didn't already see the PDF that I put in the chat, you can download that as well from that place. So rather than us talking about what all of those things mean, want to give you time to talk about them together. Actually, before we do that, we're going to talk about them whole group, and then we'll go into our breakout rooms. All right, so sharing out, what we call a share out aloud would be you coming off mute and talking, or you can chime into the chat since there are a lot of us. And believe it or not, I'm introverted, so I like the chat myself, but would love to get some share backs of how many behavior skills and mindsets did y'all see that each of the programs had? What similarities did you see? What differences did you see? And then I'll reveal them to you all together.
I saw teamwork.
You saw teamwork in some of them or all of them?
In most of them, all of them, matter of fact, I saw teamwork in all of them.
Yeah, and if you saw the same, you can chime into the chat. I hear someone else, go ahead.
Well, I seen growth mindset in all of them.
Yeah.
Actually, there are 6 similarities and 2 differences on each one of them.
I saw communication in all of them.
Communication. I see someone put in the chat, all the common ones were communication, teamwork, growth mindset, persistence, personal responsibility, future orientation. Yes. So remembering that those blue ones were the behavior skills and the green ones were mindsets, you may have in fact noticed that all of the mindsets are the same. All right. So now that y'all got those down, we are going to do a little breakout room exercise to give you a chance to talk to one another and discuss the meaning of any BSMs you're unsure of. So maybe you're like, what is future orientation? I know the word future, I know the word orientation. Want to see if y'all can kind of troubleshoot that together and come up with a consensus. Also would love for you to spend the 5 minutes talking about the behavior skill and mindsets that come most naturally to you of those 8 in the area that you're thinking of joining. Also talk about which you think you might need to develop the most and why that is. And then if there are any lingering questions, we'll answer those once you come back, but we're going to give you time to talk. So let me stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to put those questions in the chat so you can still see them once I put you into breakout rooms.